Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Outcomes for Me Ask the Expert webinar series. Today, we are beyond privileged to connect you with a leading expert in nutrition specific to cancer patients, survivors, and thrivers. She is here to address your questions and share insights drawn directly to our community. So thank you so much for being an important part of this conversation. Thanks to everyone who have submitted some of their questions ahead of time. That really helped us to be able to organize the content today in a way that we know will be really useful for all of you joining us. For those of you who may be joining for the very first time, my name is Suzanne Garner. I'm Director of Marketing and Community at Outcomes for Me. This company exists because we're on a mission to empower cancer patients with evidence-based information and resources through our platform. For today's webinar, I am honored to welcome Rachel Beller, a registered dietitian nutritionist and a 4-time best-selling author, creator of an award-winning line of Power Spice blends and the Beller Nutrition Masterclass for weight management and cancer risk reduction. She is the media expert for Good Morning America and a spokesperson for the American Cancer Society. Rachel has researched the role of nutrition in breast cancer reduction at leading research hospitals, and her signature online program, the Beller Nutrition Masterclass, is a simple all-in-one action plan for weight management and cancer risk reduction using the Beller method. Her latest book, Spice Rack, a spicy action plan with recipes to reduce breast cancer risk and manage your weight, is available now at all the places where you buy books. So Amazon's probably a great place for that. And you can learn more about any of her master classes and her educational programs and her books at bellernutrition.com. So welcome, Rachel. Could you please start us off by introducing yourself, maybe sharing anything I may have missed, and then we can jump right into what you prepared for us today.
And I think you covered it. And I'm so grateful to be here, as one of my greatest passions is to share some knowledge and empower individuals to be proactive about their health. And for me, it's really about the action plan. Like, what is someone going to do with the information that will be meaningful for them in their life, and something that's practical for them. So I'll talk about that when I start my talk, but yeah, I'm glad to be here. And we do have something very special at the end. We have a very special offer for a collaborative effort that we have between Outcomes for Me and Beller Nutrition to join me and to join the masterclass, so I can further educate and empower everyone who's here. So I'm going to start the presentation. I'm going to share my screen and get going. So Suzanne, you could see everything? Everything's good? Great, great. So I'm going to start off by talking about 3 strategies to help you optimize your health and reduce inflammation. And there are so many different topics that I could talk about when it comes to nutrition and cancer. And as I was mentioning, my passion is to translate nutritional science into actionable solutions so that thrivers can have the clarity and confidence that they deserve and feel empowered and proactive with their thrivership. So I have multiple, what my patients call commandments, nutrition commandments. And today I'm going to highlight just 3 of them. One is going to focus on fiber. The other one's going to be about the power of spicing. And then I'm going to introduce some power-ups and power tonics. And we can do other talks about other topics as well. But I thought it would be good to really focus on just a few key principles and key strategies. So in talking about fiber, I mean, everyone knows fiber is so important for our health. And there's been a lot of research about the role of fiber when it comes to cancer risk reduction. It is a very powerful yet very simple tool in helping fight cancer. And generally speaking, and the American Institute for Cancer Research does recommend about 30 to 35 grams a day to help you with risk reduction. So the way I like to describe this, when you think about fiber, I want you to think about a cleaning crew entering your body, like a good cleaning crew. You've got, let's say, a 5,000 square foot house and there's 5 people coming with great soaps and sponges and they're all eager to clean up and scrub your insides clean and remove a lot of the excess hormones and potential carcinogens out of your body. And the reason I'm highlighting it is because it's food. And we tend to get wrapped up in supplements, but really the food can do such an incredible job, if not, a superior job in cleaning our insides. So that's how I want you to visualize fiber. 5 things that fiber could do for you that I'm going to unpack is going to be that it helps us manage our weight. It also helps remove excess hormones such as estrogen, cholesterol, potential carcinogens out of the body. It promotes a healthy gut microbiome, which is so important, especially when it comes to our immune function. So it supports us with that too. And it also helps modulate our blood sugar. So lots going on with fiber. These are just 5 things that I'm going to unpack. So the first one, it helps us with weight management, which is important when it comes to cancer risk reduction. It helps us with our sense of satiety, but it also helps us with what I consider like an internal workout within our bodies. I'm going to give you an example of that. Say, example, you're eating a slice of bread. So right here on the right, you have an organic, let's say it's an organic, multi-grain, 100-grain bread. And here you've got sprouted flourless bread, 0 flour. As you can see here on the left, the ingredients are just wholesome, intact grains. Now, when you're ingesting this flourless sprouted bread, your body has to go through a workout. It actually has to break through, when you're digesting it, it has to break through these barriers around these grains. And it takes time to do that. Over time, break it down. And what that does is that translates into steadier blood sugar, steadier energy balance. So you're not eating and then crashing. And for anybody who also needs to manage their weight, it supports that. It's not the answer, but it's supportive of that as well. So you're experiencing this internal workout. This right here that has the flour, 100% organic multi-grain bread, your body's going to break it down rather quickly. So in a sense, you might want to think of this as if you needed to get to the 10th floor and one person took the elevator to get there and the other one took the stairs. So they're both going to get there, but one of them yielded a return in that they actually got a workout. And that's one way to describe this. And there are multiple foods that are wholesome that we would be supportive, but I just wanted to give you that example here. Number 2, it can also help remove excess hormones from the body. So when we get enough fiber, more estrogen, more cholesterol, which is another hormone, potential carcinogens get excreted out of the body. So you see here, there's excess estrogen. There's our fiber here, the insoluble and soluble fiber. And it basically latches on to the excess hormones and helps remove it through our stool. When we don't ingest enough fiber, then what happens is that these excess hormones, potential carcinogens, they sit around and hang out for a long period of time and basically get recycled back into our blood system. Number 3, fiber promotes a healthy gut microbiome. When you think about your gut, I want you to think about a garden where things are growing and they're lush and beautiful, well-tended garden. That's what I want you to think about when you think about your gut microbiome. You want to protect that garden, but you need to nurture that garden. So, and gut health is really essential for all of us on multiple fronts. It helps us with hormonal balance. It helps activate phytoestrogen, those plant hormones that are beneficial. It helps them it activates them so that they do a better job in protecting us on the cellular level. It supports our immune system. Lots and lots of benefits there. One way to illustrate it here is that we have these unique fibers known as prebiotic fibers. And prebiotic fibers are those specific fibers that feed, I want you to think of it as fertilizer. It feeds the good bacteria in our gut. And so foods like asparagus, mushrooms, oats, different seeds and grains have these special prebiotic fibers that have direct access into our gut microbiome, and they're really helping this garden grow. And in turn, what happens is they are creating more short chain fatty acids, and those are what we consider also postbiotics. They actually support our immune function, so our immunity is better. It supports our weight management. It helps reduce body inflammation, and it also helps reduce cancer risk. So we want short chain fatty acid boosting fibers. When we're not eating these fibers, we're basically not nourishing and supporting the friendly good bacteria in our gut, and the bad bacteria kind of takes over. So we've got more of the less favorable bacteria in our gut, and in turn, we get the opposite. Our immune function isn't doing as well. Our weight management becomes more difficult. Inflammation gets increased in the body, and it increases our risk for multiple different cancers. So it's important for us to think about these foods and think about it visually with that garden, because it's helpful for us to know the why when it comes to what we choose to put in our body. So I hope I've encouraged you on that front as well. Number 4, fiber helps modulate our blood sugars. This is important. When I was, in school and we were learning about blood sugar management, it was all about diabetes. Today, it's across the board for all of us. It has a lot to do with our energy balance, and it has to do with cancer risk reduction. So we want to prevent our blood sugars being high, because that causes an increased production of insulin, which in turn increases IGF-1. And insulin growth factor 1 is a pro-inflammatory growth hormone that does stimulate cell growth, and we don't want that. So when we think about fiber, fiber helps us halt this cascade of events. You can't halt it completely, but you want to keep it, you want to modulate your blood sugars. So what you want to do is kind of think about fiber as like a good set of brakes that gets installed onto a car. And that's important. That really is important as well. Last but not least, fiber also strengthens our immune system. I actually got so excited when I learned about this, and it's fascinating to me how these prebiotic fibers known as beta-glucans, what they do is they have a dual function. Number 1, they feed the good bacteria in our gut, like we mentioned. And then number 2, they travel over to the intestinal wall, and they interact with our immune cells. So it's incredible what kind of an impact fiber also has on our immune system overall. Really, really good stuff. So here's something I've noticed through my years of working in the research setting, where I had to carefully monitor participants I was working on a research study that looked at the prevention of recurrence with dietary modifications for the first 10 years of my career at a research hospital. Now, what I did notice is that people knew fiber was important. We all know, and there's been so much buzz about fiber. But despite knowing it, so little, just you look at it here, 3% of Americans are getting the recommended amount of fiber. Even though we know, if I were to look at all of you, right, hundreds of you in an audience, and I said, who really knows, who understands how important fiber is for our health? I would say almost everyone would raise their hand. But despite knowing, when it comes down to doing a dietary analysis and a history, and I get this even in my practice, where I have people coming to me who know a lot about nutrition, they're still not getting it where we want to be, which is about 30 to 35 grams of fiber per day. So I'm illustrating an example here below. Somebody who eats oatmeal, they have a bunch of fruit, they have a big salad, they have tons of vegetables with brown rice. they're still not, they're a little over half of what we want. And this is a pretty good diet. So I'm not discouraging you, but I do want to emphasize how important it is to really focus on something that seems so simple and give it time. Give it time. So we're focusing on reaching our daily 30, 35. I have to say, we're all different. So do it gradually. Some people will say that they do well increasing 10 grams at a time above what they're currently doing. Some people can go all in and distribute, and have about 35 grams from day one, and they're just fine as long as they distribute it, obviously. But I want to emphasize that it's not just about the number. It's also about diversification. Just like any investment that you have, you want to diversify. You're not going to put everything in one place, hopefully. So we have insoluble fiber. We have soluble fibers. Then we have a category within prebiotic fibers. And then the beta glucans that are also supportive for our immune system. So as I was mentioning in the beginning, my passion project is to empower and to help individuals be proactive. So I can talk about the research, but now I'm really excited about this talk because now I get to tell you what you might do tomorrow or even today. So here's one suggestion I give my patients and my masterclass participants. Front load your day with about 10 grams of fiber before noon. A lot of people are coming to me and they're intermittent fasting. No problem. Let's just shift that transaction to another slot during the day. But I want you to identify that you're getting about 10 grams. So for example, you've got sprouted organic oats right here, right? And fiber-wise, we're looking at just 4 grams, very modest. So what I have people do, and also your blood sugars are probably going to rise rather quickly. So what I have people do is select one of my starter kit fiber boosters. Maybe you've never tried basil seeds before and you're curious about it. Great. Take a tablespoon, gel it in water, 30 seconds, done, stir it in. Now you've installed that set of breaks that I talked about earlier. And you're not tasting it, and it's great, and it's got omega-3 fatty acids, and it's got fiber and a lot of minerals, and it's going to give you more energy, lasting energy, and your blood sugars are going to be supported. So good stuff. Or you might say, hey, I want to try sprouted vacuum sealed ground flax, which is delicious, by the way. That's another one you could try. Don't try them all at once. I usually tell people start with 2, rotate them for a few months. Here, I have it on the next. Here we go. Rotate it for a few months and then switch it up a little bit. Right here, I've got whole hemp seeds, which are also delicious and crunchy. If you can find them online, grab them because they usually sell out. They are right here. So they look different than your traditional hemp heart because it has the shell, so it's both fiber and protein. So again, play around with 1 or 2, not all of them. Don't overwhelm yourself. That doesn't last. And then after a few months, then I start introducing like another fiber booster in addition, not in lieu of these. These are keepers, like a prebiotic fiber powder or something like that. Now, another way to diversify your breakfast, don't eat the same thing every single time. Maybe you're rotating your fiber boosters. Maybe the next thing you want to do is rotate the base. I love recommending my fiber on the go AM fiber cookies. I travel with these all the time. They're great, like 4 ingredients. That's one formulation. Maybe another one is to take, I don't know, a cashew yogurt, stir in some almond protein powder, add a fiber booster and a high fiber fruit, done. There are so many ways you can do this, but the key is to invest in the simplest things that you can invest in, which is whole foods. Whole foods. Another way to up your fiber game plan and help optimize cancer risk reduction, plant-based proteins. Genius, They're great when you, it's a whole other talk that I would give, but when it comes to prioritizing proteins and what are considered premium proteins when it comes to cancer risk reduction, heart disease, diabetes, you name it, plant-based proteins are premium. I'm not telling you to be vegan. I just think that if you aim for, maybe think about one of your 2 meals other than breakfast, consider adding a plant-based protein, because just by having, let's say 3/4 of a cup of garbanzo beans, you're going to get another fiber booster, another 10, 12 grams of fiber. If you're going to have a salad with grilled chicken, you're going to get maybe 3 grams if you're lucky. So on average. So keep it simple. Think about convenience as well, because that's what works best for longevity and for sustainability. So this is a Tetra Pak of garbanzo beans. I prefer the cartons whenever I see them. This is a sprouted green lentil. There's sprouted mung beans as well. What I love about sprouted beans is that, this is dry, by the way, is that it takes 5 minutes to cook. 5 minutes and it's done. And the fact that it's sprouted also enhances the bioavailability of the nutrients within. You know, we want to absorb the good stuff, the protective stuff. And also it eases digestion. So if you're sensitive to beans, it reduces some of those typical side effects. It's also extremely budget friendly. We can't undermine the importance of thinking about our budget. And a serving of, let's say, a sprouted bean like this is just, maybe it's 1/4 of what a piece of fish or a piece of meat would cost. Really inexpensive. You can buy organic shelled edamame as something quick as well. There's some pre-flavored things as well. And then you can also take it to go. There are so many different options. But keep it simple. And once again, I'm reiterating, the plant-based proteins are an easy way to hit your fiber goal, another transaction, plus all the perks that I'm mentioning. They're premium, cancer-fighting phytochemicals that they are rich in to protect us on the cellular level. They contain fiber, they boost our gut health, they help us with our weight management, they help us balance our hormones. They don't have natural occurring hormones as well, which is a whole other discussion, and they do contain anti-inflammatory properties. Okay, I'm going to shift gears. I'm going to talk about the power of spicing. This is something that I am passionate about, and what inspired me was an article I saw by the American Institute for Cancer Research way back when I just a few years into my career. And it was titled The Spices of Cancer Protection. And I thought to myself, I was talking to an oncologist, and I thought to myself, you know, with all the things that are being touted that don't have much evidence at all to support, all these supplements and all these different products that are here today and gone tomorrow, and no one even keeps up with them. Spices are so simple. It's something that people already have in their pantries. We just have to change how they think about it, how they look at it, and empower them. So I started to dive into the research, and there's, just in the last 5 years, thousands and thousands of studies about the power of spicing. When it comes to potential anti-cancer mechanism, there are tons of them on multiple fronts. And here are just 5 reasons to spice up your life. They contain anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. They could potentially help us fight cancer. They support our weight management goals. They definitely support our gut microbiome. And because they're already a habit for us, if we're consistent with it, we get to benefit from that cumulative effect over time, which is the most important thing when it comes to nutritional interventions. How often, how consistent are you going to be? That's the difference maker. That's why we focus on food first and not the fun little supplements that we obsess on. So I actually decided to go all out. And I started to do some research with my team about a concept called spice synergy. How you pair certain spices makes a difference. When certain spices parsley and turmeric and all these different spices, when they're combined together, cacao, turmeric, all these different things, they boost each other's effect in a natural way, not an isolated way, not like supplements, in a natural way. And with just a pinch, a few pinches, you can dramatically elevate the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties of every meal. So I took it a step further. I wrote 2 books, 2 best-selling books. One is called Power Spicing, and then Spice Rack is my latest one that focuses on breast cancer risk reduction and utilizing spicing. And then I just had some more fun with it and created a product line, and it's been fun. It's good. Spices, there's lots of research on it's helping us reduce inflammation. I'm not going to bore you with too many of the details here, but this is just one example. They gave half a teaspoon a day of a spice combination. It was rosemary, ginger, turmeric, and clove. And they saw a measurable change in antioxidant, anti-inflammatory activity after 7 days of these people ingesting it. And so, think about it logically. Just with a short week, they saw a little bit of a difference. Imagine you're consistent with this, what it could do for you. And again, you already have this. You have this in your pantries right now. They also support our gut microbiome. A lot of people ask me questions about like how, we're done with antibiotics. How do we support our gut microbiome, our gut health? What can we do? Well, spices is one thing that you can do. And so UCLA did a study, and it was very interesting that spices had a dual effect. Number one, it increased the good bacteria in our gut, but it also reduced the bad bacteria. This is something I was so excited about. This is an analysis that was done. They took 3,100 different foods, and they analyzed using what's called a FRAP assay. They figured out the antioxidant value among 3,100 different foods. And spices were coming up really, really high. And which is fun. It's great. It just shows more about the impact, right? For me, it was fun because I could take this data, and because I have my own spice line, I could actually and because I have ownership of my formulations, I could do an analysis on a spice blend and its impact when it comes to typical meal. This is an average, keep in mind. And the point isn't that this is my spice blend, nothing to do with it. It's a combination of Ceylon, organic Ceylon, cinnamon, cacao, and turmeric. You could do this on your own. So I just have the information on this. So if you have something like overnight oats, say with soy milk, based on that analysis, the antioxidant value ranged at about 136. If you add a teaspoon of this combination of Ceylon cinnamon, this was cinnamon actually, cacao and turmeric, then it climbed all the way up to 1,292, almost tenfold, just with spices. And again, you don't have to use this. I just have the information on it. You can do your own. And in my book, I actually give you substitutions in case you don't have my products. That's not the point. Look at tofu. The antioxidant value is increased almost by 52%. We did this utilizing our customary blend of a blend called Everything Savory that has paprika, cumin, turmeric, black pepper, and a very gentle hint of cayenne. Chickpeas, 61% increase with a blend that we have that's called Vegitude Power. That is garlic, onion, turmeric, dried parsley, and black pepper. And notice turmeric is like third or fourth item. We are all obsessed about turmeric, thinking that's the it spice. No, there's so much more than that. Simple ways to add spicing to everyday foods. You can buy a jar of marinara and add some Italian blend to it. You can get, like on my desk, I have a super sumac blend that you can sprinkle into your hummus or stir it in. Nut butters. You can stir spices into that. Coffee, interestingly, there's a synergistic effect between ginger and cinnamon to enhance the antioxidant value that you're getting from the coffee. Popcorn, you can add spices to it. Lentils, beans, it's very easy and simple to do. So elevate your meals and enjoy feeling empowered with spices. We're almost at the end. Quickly, I'm going to go over some other ways for you to elevate your meals. I love this. My patients feel very inspired with simple things. These are like, I call them difference makers, little things that you can add to your meal to take them to the next level when it comes to anti-cancer properties. So I'm going to share just a few. So like mushrooms, right? Mushrooms are great because they're rich in aromatase inhibitors and those beta glucans, those fibers that support our immune system, that help the good bacteria in our gut grow and thrive. So there's lots of research on mushrooms, and you don't just have to go to a powder. You want to be careful with some of these powders too, because some of them don't even contain what they say they contain. So food first. I think I have a slide here. Yeah, so food first. Fresh mushrooms. Buy them wherever you can. Farmers markets, Costco, I'm obsessed. They have at least 4 different organic mushrooms most of the time. And it makes it easier and more budget friendly to incorporate it. But that comes first. Then the second thing you could do is buy dehydrated mushrooms. You just cook it like spaghetti, just boiling water, just instead of 8 minutes, 30 minutes, strain it, squeeze the water out and saute it. You're good to go. And then the next thing would be not necessarily this brand, but you could entertain using a powder if you want to stir into different foods. But really, the first 2 are where it's at, and really you want to focus on that and invest in that. Sesame seeds, tahini paste, another one that's great. It's the second richest source of lignans after flaxseed, very protective when it comes to breast health. And that is probably the best dressing that you can add to your salad. And it's easy. Don't overcomplicate. Just get a little bit of raw tahini in a jar, put it in a blender cup, half a cup of water, lemon juice, a spice blend to elevate it, blend it. That's it. Done. You don't even have to measure exactly, but it's very powerful. Watercress. CDC ranked it #1 nutrient-dense vegetable. It's rich in indole 3-carbinol, which may help fight breast cancer, and it is fantastic to add. You can't bottle this stuff up. You can't put it into a powder and say it's superior. Your produce section, there's so much for us to do there. So that's another one. And of course, broccoli sprouts. I'm sure you guys have heard about this, but I just always want to bring it up and encourage you to at least twice a month buy a little box or grow it. But what's amazing about it is that just 2 tablespoons of broccoli sprouts. So imagine you've got a good cancer-fighting meal. It's amazing. And then you up the ante. You actually add 2 tablespoons of broccoli sprouts, which has the sulforaphane amount, the active compound, cancer-fighting compound in broccoli. It has as much as 2 pounds of mature broccoli. It's incredible, just incredible. And the micro broccoli would be the second choice. They're very popular right now, these microgreens. They're not as concentrated as broccoli sprouts, but of course, they're still amazing. And horseradish, people are always telling me, what do I do with it? Pick up a jar. You can upgrade your dips. It's not just for steak. You can buy a tub of hummus and stir it in there. And it's rich in something called glucosinolates, which are very strong anti-cancer properties. And so, keep it simple. And I'm going quickly because we're ending. So just one other concept. I only have maybe 1 slide on this. Power tonics, what we drink makes a difference. I have in my desk a power tonic. It's great to think of your beverages as vehicles to add more cancer-fighting good. So I'm just picking one that's very popular. Black cumin seeds are amazing for digestion. They don't have a strong taste or anything, but it's great because they're so rich in antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties. So you can put that and make that as a tea. Hibiscus powder if you want, or hibiscus tea. Just buy the loose leaf tea. You don't have to add all of these. You could just do one. I would say for post-meal digestion, my favorite way to go, black cumin seeds and fresh parsley. You can make a power tonic like that. It helps you with digestion and is really rich in anti-cancer properties. And then what I do is I add spice, of course. So one of my blends is a Cinepil spice or a Morning Boost blend. Great combination. They don't dissolve, so don't get frustrated. It's a spice. It shouldn't dissolve. If it dissolves, there's a problem, like matcha. If it dissolves, there's a problem. That means they're adding solvents and unnecessary ingredients. But just an example. And then for bedtime, for relaxing, barley grass latte is an incredible thing that a lot of my patients enjoy because it's rich in GABA and it helps us relax. It also has beta glucans. So that's another one that you could try. It kind of tastes, people ask me, what does it taste like? It tastes like matcha, but just a little milder. And all in all, in closing, I want to give you a little bit of an analogy. When you think about your diet, because a lot of people are under the perception that, yeah, I've got it. I know what to do. I eat healthy. I want you to invest in building a house. I want you to think about some of these key concepts that I'm teaching you about. Fiber. It's a major key structural component of a house. It's the roof. Premium fats, sugars and how much sugar, and your gut health, and premium proteins, and managing your weight or excess body weight, I should say. They take time. Usually people focus on these. The average person that comes to me is they're first engaged in their supplements. Should I take this? Should I take that? Should I take turmeric supplement? Hold on. Let's talk about the house. And then we do a dietary analysis. There's no house. The house takes time. It's the simple things that matter. And I can't stress, it should take you at least 3 months to build a good solid house before you bring in the designer, the decorator, to talk about colors, chandeliers, accessories, all this kind of stuff. So I just want to bring that up because I really, over the years, working with so many oncology patients, that's a gap that we need to, and it's a point that we need to focus on. So as I was mentioning in the beginning, we have something special for you guys. I do have a masterclass, and we have different tiers for different individuals, but if I were to sum it up, it's basically a very simple way for you to hang out with me, I guess. So every week I hold office hours at a specific time, and you can join and just hop on and ask all your questions. I have dietitians as well. And then every other week, I'm going to lecture like I did right now and unpack this in a way that's probably a little more digestible. And we are doing something special. Typically, the lowest tier that we have is $99 a month. We basically are doing it for $1 a day so that anybody, only the first 15 people who scan the QR code and message us, we will enroll for this like $1 a day kind of concept. And that's our way of giving back in collaboration with Outcomes for Me. To, because of our shared goal of empowering you to be proactive. There's the knowledge, and then there's let me hold your hand and walk you through to make it happen. And that's what the class does. We don't want to overwhelm you. I want to guide you. I want to hold your hand. I want to help you build that house. And then, of course, we talk about everything else as well. So.
That was such an amazing overview, and this is incredibly generous offer, and something that we will be communicating all the details through for our community. So make sure that you have the app downloaded and that you are able to receive notifications for us so that we can get all of this information to you, and help move this along. We have just a couple of more minutes. So I want to address, if we can, just a couple of questions from our community. We get quite a few questions in regards to soy and hormone positive cancer. So breast cancers, certainly, but prostate cancers as well. Do you have an opinion on soy consumption for a species type?
Suzanne, I get this question all the time. And last night, as I'm like putting things together, I'm like, they're going to ask about soy. So I threw a couple slides here to address it, because listen, it just comes up I think it comes up in my masterclass during office hours all the time. What kind of soy and how to integrate it. So the consensus is, looking at tons and tons of studies, there's like a lot of studies, a lot of research on soy, is yes, it's beneficial. In fact, it should no longer be a question. That's how strongly we feel about it, especially in comparing it to other proteins, like animal-based proteins. People won't think twice about, I don't know, eating grilled chicken. And I'm not saying that that's bad, but they won't think twice about that, but they'll second guess soy, which is, I mean, you can't even compare how much more beneficial it is to eat even daily. So the reason it's protective is because our cells have receptors, right? So we're looking at breast tissue here. There's an alpha receptor and a beta receptor. Phytoestrogens, which are the ones that come from foods like soy, flax, sesame, lentils, apples. There are so many different foods that are rich in these plant estrogens, okay? What happens is these phytoestrogens, they have an affinity to a beta receptor right here. And what happens is the beta receptor tells the cell, if something's going on, don't multiply, don't divide. That's a good thing. The stronger estrogen basically has an affinity to the alpha receptor, and that tells the cell to multiply and divide. That's something that we don't want. That's actually why people are concerned about soy, but it's doing the opposite. So what happens is, when the plant-based estrogen comes over to that beta receptor, because that's where it loves to go, it's 1,600 times more likely to go to this receptor. It sends a signal to the alpha receptor saying, hey, I'm here, go away. And so it's a decoy. So it's protecting you. So we want to have more of these phytoestrogens from wholesome foods. So soy can help reduce the risk of breast cancer. I don't like to say prevent, reduce the risk of breast cancer by stimulating that beta receptor and blocking the more powerful effects of the estrogen, the real strong estrogen that comes from a variety of different places. Okay. And as I was mentioning, it's 1,600 times more likely to go to this beta receptor. That's a lot. If by some weird chance it somehow makes it over to this alpha receptor, well, the good news is that it is so much weaker than this guy. So it's barely going to have an impact. So we want it. And we have these estrogen receptors throughout our body. It also has something to do with uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, colon cancer. It's important. So I want to make sure that this is an important one. It's a good question, because you want to feel empowered. You want to have clarity and confidence with your food. And so a lot of women who are estrogen receptor negative will say, well, what about me? You keep talking about these plant hormones being beneficial and all that. Well, the good news is that soy and edamame and all that, they're rich in antioxidant properties. They have minerals, fiber, good stuff all around, and good for heart health and so much more. So Yeah, it's good stuff, all around, all around.
That was
Great
the
question.
best. That was the best answer to that question I have heard. So
I
thank you.
had an epiphany last night. I'm like, wait a minute, let me
No,
just.
that was so good. This time together went so fast. So I am going to wrap us up, unfortunately. I know there are so many questions that we did not get to, and this is such an important topic. So just stay tuned because we are going to be providing our community with more ways to have access to Rachel and to the whole Beller Nutrition team, and the ability to get those personal questions answered. Rachel, I am, at behalf of our company and as just a cancer survivor myself, I want to thank you for your heart for patients and this work that you do. There are no shortage of people out there that are willing to sell us a quick cure or a package of supplements. And so this intelligent, practical, food first approach is so empowering to me. And I just thank you on behalf of all of us. For the time.
Honestly, I had a good time. I had a great time. So I hope I empowered and inspired, and everybody can start today to do just one or two things, and that would be great. So
Absolutely. I'm going to go find some fiber in my kitchen right now.
it's there.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.